What's up, my friends? Happy Tuesday night. I'm Rob Whiteside. This is Deep in the Plus, and tonight we are going to be talking about zombies. Zombies get a bad rap, but we've got some guys here that want to talk about the zombies. Oh my gosh, there's a zombie! Oh man, that's scary stuff. There's Eric Wolf. How are you, Wolf?
Hey, what's up, guys? There isn't an I in team, but there's an I in zombies, so let's do this.
I mean, you're in Zombieland, I'm in Zombieland, we're in Zombieland, and Ron Deanna is in Zombieland. Ron, how are you?
Bam!
Bam! He's got a zombie right there. So, yeah, watch me do it like bam. So this is an interesting one. Okay, so first of all, let me talk about zombies for a second because this is going to bother me. Like regular old zombies. So here is let me start from the beginning here. So here's some zombies, right? This is what we know of zombies. We got The Walking Dead, and that's been on TV forever. And zombies are bad, right? You got mummies, you got zombies, you got Dracula, you got all these bad things, these monsters that we've grown up with. And zombies are scary. Zombies are they're the Walking Dead, and then there's the zombie and the cheerleader. So it's a little ridiculous of a premise, right? And it was based on, there was a Zombies and Cheerleaders, was it called? Yeah, Zombies and Cheerleaders book, I believe. And then they tried to do a series in 2012 where they did a pilot for it for Disney Channel. And then it ended up being what we have today, which is the 2018 Zombies. So all that said, Wolf, you were actually one of the pioneers of doing this one for our spooky season, and what's interesting is there's really nothing Halloween about this. It's really but it is a spooky movie. So what is it that you love about zombies, the movie?
About the movie, man. Okay, so I'm a musical person. I just like musicals. I actually like the style of music that they went with in this movie. I actually like the whole dynamic between the cheerleaders and the zombies, and so it was everything that I kind of liked but didn't know that I would like in one particular movie, so it was fun.
So it took you by surprise a little bit when you saw this one and you liked it.
Definitely. I just checked it out because I was like, oh, let me check out this zombies movie. I heard good things, but I didn't know it was a musical. Because I don't have Disney Channel, so I just watched it when it was on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I didn't even know it was a musical or anything like that. But when I turned it on and that first song came on, I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna like this."
You're like, I'm feeling this. So I think Ron originally thought we were going to talk about the Cranberries video for zombies, and then maybe some drinks. So Ron, what is it you actually liked about that drove you to watch zombies?
Well, I actually usually hate the DCOMs. They're not usually my style of movies, but Laurel loves them, my wife. And she was watching this one, and I came in the room, I think, during BAM, and just kind of fell in love with it because to me that felt like a 90s music video, which is much more, my time, to go with what you said about the Cranberries thing. But I love the style of it. I love the choreography. That's usually what gets me in a good musical, is between this type of music, but the choreography is really what I want to watch. And the pure athleticism in this choreography just is what really dragged me in. And then it's obviously a Romeo and Juliet story, playing off the tropes that probably, the kind of off-kilter romances that started with Twilight, but there was also Warm Bodies in 2013, which was a zombie romance thing as well. And I thought I just thought it was a fun movie. Just when I sat down about halfway through it, and I'm like, oh, this is actually good. This doesn't remind me of like Camp Rock or something like that. Even though I think it's the same director as one of the Camp Rocks.
How dare you, sir, with Camp Rock? How dare you? Camp Rock is a beautiful movie. How dare you?
When that was out, I remember it was about the time I was moving up here, and I was with one of my new roommates at Target, and they had all the stuff there, and I'm just walking through. and I'm just like, what the hell is a Jonas Brother?
Little did you know they would change the world as we know it. I got to tell you though, yeah, the High School Musical, Camp Rock, Descendants, the Teen Beach Movie, like these are the series that, you know, kind of like the precursors to Zombies being like that Disney Channel original movie musical. And so you've got, you know, there's a romance, and there's drama, and then there's also music and dancing. And when you were talking about athleticism, there's that one scene where they're doing the zombie mash, you know, those hardcore zombie parties that they have, and he's jumping and back down on the bouncing floor, and I thought that was pretty cool. That kind of choreography. I feel like they kind of, from movie to movie, always have to feel like how do they step this up and make it different and unusual. So I thought that was pretty cool. So this movie was originally made for Disney Channel, like we talked about. It was an hour 37 minutes, and you know, honestly, I had never sat down and watched the whole thing beginning to end before. I'd seen parts of it, but I've never watched the whole thing beginning to end. And so as I'm watching it, and it's got that whole intro, the animated intro, where they're kind of setting the stage for you, you know, and you see the zombies, and they talk about like the history of like, this is what happened, and then we made this town and we divided it up, and you know, the zombies live in Zombieland. It was a little dark, actually, some of those scenes of the zombies. But I was just thinking at that point, like, why the lime soda? Like, why is that the catalyst to make them into zombies? You're laughing, Eric, but I mean, do you know the solution? Why is it? Because that's what makes them green? Is that why?
Right. I actually have no idea. I don't know what that was. All I do know is that in the second one, because there is a sequel to Zombies, they kind of changed it just a little bit, but they don't even get into it either, so I don't think it's that important.
But
it was just for the absurdity of the whole concept.
Right?
I mean, we've seen viruses, we've seen magic, we've seen other reanimations. Just like a lime soda accident. Why not? And it's something a little more kid friendly than, you know, a raging virus or a necromancer causing everything.
You don't think a raging virus is kid friendly? I mean, we've had one for almost 2 years now.
Well, not in 2018.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Too soon. So in case you guys wonder and you haven't seen the movie, what a zombie looks like, this is what a zombie actually looks like. All those things on AMC's Walking Dead were very wrong. This is what zombies actually look like, and maybe this is just when there's lime soda involved. I don't know. But they're very stylish, and honestly look a little bit like the Descendants.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that kind of inspiration that's going on
leather.
there. Let's talk about this as and Ron, you've used the word trope, but like the talking to the camera drove me nuts. Ron, did it bother you? Because it was one of those things where I get it at the beginning where they're trying to explain to you about Zombieland and all that, but I feel like they could have done that in an extended part of the intro and not actually had to talk right at me.
I mean, Fourth Wall Break is kind of a lazy writing style, in my opinion, particularly when it's not constant. You know, it comes in and out here. It's not always being played in every scene. It just comes in when we have exposition to go through and we don't want to have to put in another scene because we only have a 90-minute movie. But, you know, if we are also playing off the Romeo and Juliet thing, the soliloquies are a very Shakespearean device to do that as well. So, I mean, I don't know if that's how deep they wanted to go with that, but it does also play off that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that you use a lot of big words to describe this because I just looked at it and went, I don't like it. But lazy, yes, I agree with you on that one. But another thing that they use as a device in this, and it's literally a device, is the Z-band. So this is what keeps the zombies from zombieing out. Wolf, you know, you're in full zombie gear tonight. Do you have one of these on right now? Should we be concerned, or?
I couldn't get it from Etsy. It didn't come in on time, so I don't have one on. So you never know what could happen tonight.
Yes, exactly. Is there a Z-Band Plus that will interact with the fireworks? That's really what I'm trying to figure out at this point, because I'll buy it, make it limited edition, put it in a box, and I will buy it. So the Z-Band thing, it's interesting that wasn't something that actually they did sell in the parks. You would think that if, based on the popularity of this, it was popular enough to make a sequel. We all know that there's also, or we probably all know that there's a sequel, a third Zombies on the way. And we thought about talking about both movies, but I feel like we needed to keep this clean and just talk about one movie at a time. I mean, today is Genie Plus / Lightning Lane Day, and there's already enough confusion about that. So we wanted some safe place for you to come and just talk about one thing, and that's zombies. So as they get into this and they talk about the division, they make it feel like they're trying to tell a story of like separation as a society, and I kind of get that vibe and what they're doing there. But I hate that they did it with something that tries to kill you. Any thoughts on that, Ron, about like the message it's trying to send with that?
Yeah, it's not the best metaphor for, trying to get over people's differences, but it's blunt and it works on a skewed younger audience. And a skewed younger audience that has gotten to these things of, with the Twilight and all that, and even Descendants, having the villains there. It's something that we've been playing up more in a lot of media. I mean, like, think about Vampirina being a kid's show. You have a 6-year-old vampire running around, or however old she is.
Yeah, that's so yeah. There's so we meet Zed, and Zed is our hero, I guess, zombie, and he has his younger sister Zoe, and she wants a dog, but zombies can't have dogs. They're not allowed. And again, it's like, oh, that's so unfair. And you think, well, you know what? Zombies might eat dogs. So again, it really, that comparison is a little bit off on that to me. But so he's explaining his home life, and then we meet Addison, and like Addison is explaining her home life, and she's like in the normal world of Seabrook. That's where the land where they live, and today's the big day when she's starting school, and she's going to be a cheerleader, and Zed's starting school, and he's going to be a football player. Way on the nose, right? I mean. Eric, when you were starting school, were you like, today's the day I'm gonna, I don't know, whatever. Like, I mean, like when they're starting school with all this, it does it seem like it's a little over the top that it's cheerleader and football player?
Not necessarily, and only because it's a Disney Channel show, Disney Channel movie. Like, I think we expect things like this from a DCOM. So honestly, it was just, all right, that's what's happening. Let's go on this ride and see if they become a cheerleader and a football player, which I had no doubt.
Yeah, spoiler alert, that's what happens. But so then Addison has this dirty little secret that she's also very, very different because her hair is white.
Yep.
I mean, again, I mean, it's going to sound weird, but shouldn't there have been something different other than that? I don't know. Ron, is this enough to make her a complete outcast?
I think it's more to show how uptight the town is, that even little differences like that are going to drive them insane. That it's this kind of pastel nightmare you have to live in if you're in Seabrook. And that any little difference at all, is just going to play off real negatively in town.
Yeah. Well, that's her dirty little secret, is that she's got white hair, and so she has to cover it up with a wig, which the irony is that I guess they're using her regular hair as the wig, and then in the end when she takes it off and you see the wig, it actually is supposed to be a regular hair, but it looks like a wig. It's so weird. Then we meet her parents, and her parents are I don't know, they're just I guess over the top. Her mom's like running for office, and her dad, did they make it clear from the beginning what her dad did? Like, we learn later, but did they make it clear at the beginning?
I don't think so. I think
no.
I personally just really I thought he was like, because they say that she's like the mayor, I think it was, and I just thought, oh, okay, they're both in like Seabrook government or whatever.
Yeah, Seabrook government. That's exactly. Yeah.
And that's why they're so like hard on her to be normal and stuff.
But instead of it being a police department, it's like the zombie patrol. And I guess because it's Seabrook, they don't need police because everything else is cool. But then, you know, as the movie progresses and there's like, they go to school and there's the zombies only entrance and then normals only entrance. And there's this weird chain link, like gulag kind of a fence in between them. Like it like looks like Magneto is on the other. I mean, it's really weird the way that they go over the top with that, and then they put them all in the basement to do their classes. I feel like I had classes in the basement. Maybe were they trying to tell me something? I don't know. And so then we find out that this school prides itself on being a cheer school. Which I assume now, Ron, tell the dirty little secret. Is Patrick, because you were very close to our friend Patrick, was he a cheerleader? Is that right?
Yeah, he was a cheerleader into college. That's definitely true. And, you know, I rib on him a lot, but, you know, there's a lot of athleticism involved. I mean, I don't think my high school had any male cheerleaders. I don't think I've ever seen that outside of a college environment, personally. But Patrick was definitely a cheerleader, at least into college, I think.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I think that does take a lot of athleticism, but I wish that there was some footage of him somewhere, like Bucky, where we could see like people holding up like signage and like, you know, like this kind of stuff about, you know, just it would be great. So Bucky is like the big hero cheerleader, as if in, you know, like equivalent to the quarterback of the football team, because their football program is apparently horrendous, but their cheerleading is on point. So, you know, I don't know. Did you have a Bucky in your school, Eric? I mean, was there a lead cheerleader guy who was like ruled the roost?
No. So I went to a private Christian school. We were very small. So no. We didn't have anyone like that, unfortunately.
Yeah, he is very over the top. Here's a picture.
I love this character, though.
Yeah, here's a picture where they have a little dance off on the first day of school, with that fence on the other side, with the normals on one side and the zombies on the other, and you know, again, this is like the very big first dance music number that we have when the thing starts up. You've talked about the music and the dancing and everything, Eric. Do you listen to this soundtrack separately? I know we used to do that with High School Musical a lot, but do you listen to this soundtrack? Is this a big deal music thing for you?
So I do, honestly. I remember the first time watching Zombies right after I downloaded the soundtrack, because I was like, man, I really like these songs. So yeah, I listen to it, honestly, often. I have like a movie musical just playlist, and it's in there, so it plays.
So what was your favorite?
Oh man, so I actually really do like that first song. And then I like the duet that they sing together. Not the reprise. I didn't really like the reprise that much.
Right.
Because there's literally, I think, 3 songs that they sing exactly the same in this movie, which I didn't really enjoy that. But the first duet.
Yeah, Ron, what were you saying?
I think there's like 5 original numbers and then 3 reprises on it.
Yeah.
But Bam is definitely my favorite. I think it's high energy. It's a little more, you know, kind of feels like a little like late 90s kind of like would have been like at a Zen Fest kind of thing almost in the late 90s. Like not quite Prodigy, but maybe Crystal Method could have done something a little similar in my mind.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I mean, it's definitely more modern than that. It definitely has more modern dance song kind of features in that, but it's still like the way the video was done and all that really felt like almost from that time period with the black lights and the costumes.
that very first song, "My Year," I think is what it's called, is very, to me. I was like, what does this sound like? What does it sound like? It sounds like "Party in the USA" to me. No, nobody. Put your hands up. They're playing my. You're familiar.
Yeah, I might need to check that out because I guess
I could hear it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So then the next song was with tryouts where they did "Fired Up," that song. And that one reminded me a little bit of Wicked. I mean, Wicked from Descendants. So again, like I'm hearing, like it all sounded very familiar. And again, maybe it's just because it's in that lane of High School Musical, Teen Beach, and all those others, but it all sounded a little bit familiar. But the one that you were talking about, that "Someday," that they sing when they're in the zombie safe room, which is kind of funny. I feel like that joke is lost. Like, he runs into that room because it says it's a zombie safe room, but then she runs into it because it's a room where you're supposed to be safe from zombies. I think that joke was funny, and I don't think they I don't think they put the punch on that one like they should have.
It's not something I picked up on the first watch through, actually.
Yeah, like he's freaking out because the zombie alert's going off, and he's like, "Oh, where do I go? Oh, zombie safe room. This must be for me." I was like, "That's funny." And then they have this moment when they're in the zombie safe room where they're talking to each other, and he's in shadow, because there's going to be that big reveal that, oh, he just looks like a normal boy. There's nothing weird about him, right? And then you find, she finds out, it's a zombie, and you're like the whole time going, oh, she's going to find out here. So, this love at first sight, or I guess first, like dark sight? I don't know.
First talk?
Sure, that'd be great. So at this point, go ahead, Ron.
I was gonna say, I actually like that. I actually think this movie is strangely well directed for a DCOM. I think a lot of those do play off a little more cinematic techniques than you see in a lot of these, made-for-TV movies. And, High School Musical and Descendants are also a little better than most of these DCOMs. But I forget the director's name, but he's been working almost exclusively for Disney Channel since, like, Kids Incorporated.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's old school. Can we talk about the fact that that Bucky's 3 big lead cheerleaders are named Stacy, Lacey, and Tracy?
Tracy.
I mean, Ron, let's go back to lazy writing for a minute. I mean, come on.
No, I think that's more of a joke than lazy writing. I think it's more intentional.
I don't know that I love that too much. And again,
it gets funnier in the second one. When we review the second one, before the third one comes out, it gets better. All
right, yeah, okay. So I would, you know what? The chat's really gonna have to convince me we need to go to the second one on this one. So if the chat blows up and they think we need to review the second one, we'll review the second one. I will do it for the people. But that's a little bit weird.
You get a second outfit.
Yes, you do. You need to get something very specific to the second one. The talking to the camera again at this point, I was making some notes. The talking to the camera again, it was really just stop. Just stop at this point, because I feel like it was enough in the beginning. We don't need it anymore. And then there's the whole cheerleading tryouts, that whole thing with the Fired Up song. And then the initiation where she has to go over to Zombie Town and throw eggs, and she's having this crisis of faith because she doesn't want to do this, and what did these people ever do to us? And then she gets caught with the eggs, and now Zed's really let down by her. Do we ask the question, where's Zed's mom?
It's a Disney movie.
Yeah, there's always an absent parent.
Yeah. Just assume it in a Disney film.
Assume in a Disney film, all or one or more parents are already dead. Yeah. Okay.
But it goes back to how good is the security between the two towns at that point is another question. Are the normal people just allowed to walk into the zombie town? So is there any security just keeping them in at all?
I don't know. Hey, can we switch from that though to talk about how ahead of his time the Bucky was with the hand sanitizer? Really, he was blazing trails, and I think it's because of him that we had hand sanitizer. I mean, ahead of the time. The other thing I wanted to say about that particular scene is the shrimp. I mean,
Yes. The worst mascot of all time.
yeah, exactly. Like, okay. So I went to Elon College in North Carolina, which was at the time the Fightin' Christian. Now Elon University has the Phoenix, but it was the Fightin' Christian. And it doesn't make sense. Fightin' and Christian. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. So I'm used to coming from schools with bad mascots, but shrimp. I mean, what's the joke there, Ron? Like, it's just, what's the most absurd thing?
I don't know. Well, I went to a major football high school. We had a major cheerleading program that won states and all that kind of stuff as well. We were the Raiders, but just, the whole cheerleading program without any kind of sports to support kind of always sat weird with me. But I mean, that might be a generational thing, or it might just be where I went to school. But the shrimp are just a really weird mascot in general, I think.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just was like, again, it's funny. It's funny because they're the shrimp. I did like the coach, by the way, the football coach, because now let's go over to Zed. Zed's whole thing was he wanted to be in the football team, and he wasn't going to be able to be on the football team, but he showed up to practice, which apparently is how you get on the football team here, because they're so bad. There's this, like, Bucky is like lord of the cheerleading squad, and like, a mean girling everyone out of cheerleading. But over here, it's like you show up, you get the gig, until they find out like he's a zombie, and he's like, you weren't supposed to go out of the basement, were you? And then they find out, at the pep rally that he's got some skills, and they don't really equate it to this zombie strength that he has. Which, again, Eric, is strength like a feature of being a zombie? Because I don't remember that being a thing.
Traditionally, no, I would say, but I guess, how else are you going to rampage a whole city and stuff if you're not super strong?
I mean, again, you're going to tweak the premise. I mean, that's a pretty big tweak, is that zombies are super strong and also apparently super fast because he's running down the field. And it's not just when he's got his Z-band on, it's when he's messed with his Z-band and is now using his zombie powers, which apparently include super strength and speed.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, which, I mean, they're obviously not undead zombies because of that, right? I think that's one of the clear things. They're having kids and all that. So it's definitely something different we haven't seen in zombies before. But yeah, they're usually slow or normal at best in something like 28 days later.
Yeah, no, yeah. Go ahead, Eric.
You know what it might be? It might be that lemon lime soda.
I was going to say that. Oh my gosh, yes. It's that lime soda. It's that lime soda that puts them over the top. It gives them that green color and that speed you need. Lime soda.
It had to be Mountain Dew. It had to be Mountain Dew. It wasn't Sprite, which was uncaffeinated.
Sprite's got lemon. Sprite's got lemon. We need to know lemon lime. Yeah. So he gets on the team now because of that, and the coach again's like, I'm going to keep my job. He reminded me of somebody else, and I can't remember somebody. Was
it like they wanted Kevin Hart, but just obviously couldn't afford him?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it's man, Howery, Lil Rel Howery.
Yes.
Yes. Lil Rel Howery. That's exactly who it was, because he, yes. So he was in Free Guy and a couple other things recently, but that's exactly who the coach reminded me of, and I was just like, oh, okay. He's like, hey, I gotta keep my job. If I can win, I can actually buy real pants instead of sweatpants. A little bit of coach shaming on that one. So sorry to Coach Layton. But he's in there, And he gets into the game and he wins it because he's decided that this is going to help him to leverage some equality for zombies. And so the more they win, and this reminds me of Remember the Titans that Patrick and I reviewed a few weeks back, is the more they win, the more people accept them. Right? I mean, that's the same thing from Remember the Titans. The more they win, the more the team wins. Everybody's like, oh, okay, this is all right now. And so it's okay. Yeah, you know what? Zombies, they got a bad rap because they like brains, and they have 23 names in zombie language for brains. But you know what? They're okay in my book because they got points on the board. Yeah. Okay. I don't think people get over things that quickly. You still ate my granddad. This is not okay with me. Let's talk about the actors for a second. So Meg Donnelly is Addison. I feel like Disney has always done a great job with trying to elevate their stars on multiple platforms. I'm going to take you, we're going to put you in a Disney Channel movie, we're going to give you a series, we're going to give you a Hollywood Records recording, contract. And I feel like she was, to me, the last one they tried to do that with, maybe before Olivia Rodrigo. I feel like it was like you had Selena Gomez, you had I'm blanking, but Miley Cyrus was one. You had a whole bunch of those.
Hillary,
they tried,
yeah,
Hillary Duff, and I feel like Meg Donnelly was that. How do we think she did as Addison, Ron? Do you think was she strong in this one?
I think she was strong enough, and I mean, she's also been on, I think we discussed this in the chat, I think it's American Housewives. I've never seen the show.
Yeah.
But I was looking up what she did, where I might have recognized her else from, but she's done a few other voices, but she hasn't done a lot of other, too many other face acting roles, mainly because she's been on this TV show for a long time, I think 5 years at least.
Yeah. I think she does a great job on American Housewife as Taylor. I think she is really, that's where she shines. And the funny thing was that Milo Manheim, who plays Zed in this, was on American Housewife for an arc because around the same time as Zombies. So in that he played a guy trying to get to be her boyfriend. Trip was her normal boyfriend who came from Girl Meets World. That actor, I don't know his name, but it's Trip. So he was the boyfriend, and then Milo Manheim comes between them, and honestly, it's like they are acting together on stage, and I think Little Shop of Horrors maybe. And so it was. I think she does a great job in that one. I think she did okay in this one. She definitely held her own. I think she could do the dancing, but I feel like was a much stronger dancer, singer, rapper than she was. You disagree?
I definitely think he's a stronger dancer, but I've watched some of the. There's a behind the scenes if you Google making of Bam, I think it was, that Disney Channel did on one of the re-airs of the show where they were doing kind of a little behind the scenes. He doesn't sound good in the booth.
Really?
I don't think he did at all. It sounded not auto-tuned, but there's definitely some manipulation, and maybe it was just that wasn't the best take they were using. But he's definitely a dancer because they talk about when they brought him onto the set for Bam. He's the one who did they were gonna they had this. It's not a sprung floor. It's called an air track mat, which is a gymnastics thing. So they could fall and it doesn't hurt them. But he's the one who came up with the fall on the back and jump back up on his own. They said.
Oh.
Okay.
So he definitely has the physicality and the dance, if not so much maybe the singing chops in that.
Yeah, I was looking through that whole monster mat, and here's just again, I can't ever show video because YouTube will come at me, but this is that mat where they fall down on their backs and jump back up, and I that was an impressive addition to that, so I think that was kind of cool.
I originally had thought they were like a wrestling rink kind of sprung floor, but it is a gymnastics mat called an air track.
Well, and it didn't look like a. It did not look like a trampoline, but it looked like it was giving that effect. And at one point when he first starts, I actually thought he was on wires because of how light he was when he was walking down there. So it did look almost like it was some wire work for a second there.
The choreography is what sold me on this, and specifically that choreography, I think.
During this scene, though, again, because I kept looking for similarities to other things I'd seen, it felt very Thriller.
Yeah, it felt more old school than I
Yeah.
think a lot of this, the music and if you take it out as a music video, definitely felt more old school than a lot of the songs here did. A little more not hard rock, but like kind of that rock techno kind of mix. Not industrial, but kind of in that, as I said, like Crystal Method, Fatboy Slim kind of era.
Okay. I'll accept that. Hey, so let me stop and just say, if you're watching tonight, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you could give us a thumbs up if you're here, we appreciate it. It helps other people to find it, especially because look how much trouble that Wolf went to. Look at this. This is a thing of amazing beauty that he went to here, and because Ron went to the trouble to make himself a zombie drink. Maybe a little less difficult. I don't know. I literally did nothing but put my Jack Skellington head right here, and that was about it. So,
I'll say those 8 shots of rum are gone, so they're getting through the rest of the show might be a little more difficult.
We're going to have you do the alphabet backwards before this show ends. To make sure you're okay making it back to the living room. So here's another thing about the thumbs up is that, for this show in the past, because I was always jealous of the boxed in audience, I said that we would open up Wishables if we got 50 likes. And so last week when we did Muppets Haunted Mansion, we got more than 50 likes, and a couple of our viewers said, "You owe us a Wishable opening." And so I was like, we didn't say we were going to do that this time, but I said, okay, fair enough. We got over 50 likes. That was great. So if we don't get over 50 likes, I'm going to do a Wishables opening. I'm going to do an opening of this Tiki Wishable in honor of Ron, who worked the Tiki room. And so we'll do that. But if we can get 50 tonight, I'm going to open a 50th. So there you go. So and then we'll present it to somebody who leaves a comment. So there you go. That's the business of it. So let's get back into this. At this point in the movie, things are starting to go wrong. There's a raid on the zombie mash. And and just as everybody's starting to get along, Addison's seeing that they're, zombies are people too. She's meeting Zoe. She finds out they can't have dogs. She's made good friends with the zombies and gained their trust. And then here comes the zombie brigade and brings them and breaks up the whole party. And I don't know why I guess curfew is 10 o'clock in Zombieland, and these guys are like breaking the rule. But the one security guard comes in, and his name is Gus, and Addison's like, "Gus, is that you? Should we have met Gus by this point? Because I feel like we didn't." It goes back to the whole, like, what does your dad do, right? Eric, what am I confused here?
Yeah.
What happened?
No, there was a lot of things with Gus walking in that scene. Like you said, it was like a curfew, but then at the same time, it's like, why do the normies care what's happening in Zombieland? I don't understand why they're invading Zombieland if zombies can't invade that. Like, it's all a big, huge thing. But yeah, who's Gus? Did we ever see Gus before? Like, now that you say that, I want to see zombies again and kind of see if he's in the background of any of the scenes.
We know her mom is the mayor, so I guess we assume she knows the cops and all that, but we really don't see this like zombie security force or her dad really doing anything in any of the scenes.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if there's cut scenes or maybe not cut film scenes, but like stuff that was written or lines that were written to explain a little bit more of that relationship with the dad and the cops and all that. And that happens a lot, but yeah, you kind of have to, pay. It gets a payoff without any setup.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's a little confusing with that. So I just wanted to make sure I hadn't missed something. So I didn't miss anything, that they just didn't really introduce Gus at that point.
Yeah, no.
So the whole party gets broken up, and then she gets brought back to the house, and then the parents are like, "Hey, if if you're going to be with this boy that Gus found you with, then we're either going to let's back up for a second. Zombieland, if they're already relegated to Zombieland, why is there a curfew? And if there's a curfew, then like I don't know, it's just weird. Like it's like having prison within prison. I don't know what's going on there, but anyway. So just more unfair treatment for zombies. So then they have the scene where the parents are like, there's this boy and we don't know him, and the mom's like, okay, well, you can't cheer, which is the ultimate punishment. You can't cheer unless we meet this boy, and that's what they said. And so she's like, oh no, we can't do that. And so Zed finds a way, because he's figured out that, and maybe this is a Tinder thing because he's never supposed to swipe right, but he swipes right. He swipes right on his Z-band, which of course, anytime you swipe right on your Z-band is going to make you look like this. What? I don't. What's the logic in this one, Ron? Like, how did this become a thing?
I don't know. The first time I saw it, I'm like, if they could if they could cure the zombies in this way, why not? Like, just do it. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense with the whole thing, like that, and especially since the parents were pushing her to be this like successful cheerleader. That's what you're gonna punish her with. You want her to do this, and we know you want her to do this. Yeah,
I mean that's like What's going on, Eric?
No, just I feel the same way. It just doesn't make any sense at all.
Also, by the way, what's wrong with vanilla? I mean, they hate on vanilla real hard here. So I guess this is part of that whole, like you were talking about, Ron, that's like, pastel, like paradise that they're in here. But there's like 9 different things on the menu, and they're all different versions of vanilla at this yogurt shop where they've gone to visit.
I mean, it's because vanilla, not just as a flavor, but vanilla is meant to mean bland, right?
Yeah.
Like as a synonym.
Yeah.
And that's what they're kind of saying this whole town has become. And going off that, with the original story is, did the zombies ever get out of Seabrook when it started, or was zombies just a Seabrook problem? That was something I kind of always had a question about here.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. That's so basically, for the first time in any zombie story, the zombies were contained like that.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
No,
they solve the problem, and does anybody else have a problem? Like, to talk about the other towns are going to judge them for having the zombies. Like, do they have zombie, for lack of a better word, ghetto? Like, in their towns? Like, is this a normal thing in like the neighboring towns? But I think it's just a Seabrook thing. So it's like, are they looked down upon? Like, they think they're being judged, but are they being judged for being racist at that point or not?
Yeah, I mean, is it a problem all over the world, or is it just in Seabrook? I think it seems like it's just in Seabrook, because that's where the power and the lime soda came together. At the power plant, the lime soda spilled. In the past, on Deep in the Plus, I've gone through and as I've watched the movie, I've thought of things that might be good trivia questions to ask. Wolf, a lot of times I've swiped you, like not sideswiped. What's the word? I got you by surprise on a lot of things, and so I feel really bad about doing that. With that said, I have some trivia questions for you. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So there was a barrier built in between the towns when this horrific accident happened. When we meet Zed, how many years have passed since the accident, Eric?
50.
Boom. You got it. You nailed it first time. Ron, here's a hard one for you specifically. Are you ready? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like you're the kind of guy that's going to catch these kind of things. So when it opens up, we see the sign for Seabrook, and Addison is telling us this story of how everything unfolded. And Seabrook has a motto, a slogan. What is their slogan?
Oh, that I don't know.
Oh.
It's probably something about normalcy or conformity.
Or cheering.
Sorry, I got a little size. Like I saw something in the chat. So it says it's about the fact. Okay, it's about that this town was built on energy because they had the power plant where the lime soda was spilled. Clean energy lives here. That's the slogan.
Oh.
I don't know if anybody else would have noticed that. I also have Zed's address on here. I'm not going to ask you that one. Because that's a tough one. Here's two more. They're kind of tough, but they were introduced to you in this movie. So I'll just ask it to both of you together and see if either of you come up with it. In the very first game, that pivotal game that was going to decide whether Zed was going to be relegated back to the rest of the world or whether he was going to get zombie rights for all. What was the name of the team that the shrimp were playing?
It was another seafood kind of thing, wasn't it?
Ooh.
I know that.
All right.
I remember seeing that, but I don't remember what it was.
Neko, thank you. Blindsided was what I was trying to say to you, Eric. I didn't mean to blindside you, not sideswipe you. So, me speak English real good.
Was it like octopus or squid?
Close.
It's not the cuttlefish.
The eels. They were playing the eels. Yep. And then as we're learning about the winning streak, right? In typical trope fashion, newspapers come up, and it's the school newspaper. They're showing you all the headlines. What's the name of the school newspaper?
No idea.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so the school. Wait. By the way, Tyler Mann is in chat now going, OMG, Wolf. Yeah, yeah. Wolf raised the bar, Tyler. You could have been a part of this. Anyway, yeah. He's going to have to bring it when we do Atlantis.
Atlantis.
So it's the Seabrook Sentinel. The Seabrook Sentinel. So it had a little
nice and normal.
Yeah, a little bit of alliteration there. And finally, here's an easy one that I'm sure either of you will get. Basically, we're introduced to three zombies in here that are our three main zombies. It's Eliza, it's Zed, and what is the name of the third zombie?
Oh, Bonzo.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
That should have been pretty easy. I love that with Eliza. That's all the torture I'm going to put you through on this one. But I always appreciate doing that. So with this one. I loved that Eliza's earrings always changed, and they were kind of like these like found things that she would have, and one of them was like radio like dials that were on her earrings. But that was the thing that I was going to try to do trivia about that, but I couldn't recognize what the rest of them were. But they were definitely homemade in stature. So let me ask you this, Wolf. This is not really a trivia question, but maybe something that you would know. How do you spell zombie?
What?
Here's the.
It's right there.
Yeah, but here's the joke. Here's the joke, though. When Addison is trying to ramp up the crowd, she says, "Give me a zom." Give me a B. What's that spell? She literally says, "What's that spell?" Sometimes, man. Sometimes. I mean, I forgive a lot of things. I really do. And I love to love things. But give me a zom. Give me a B. What's that spell? Fail. I refuse it. By the way, so at this point, like we've moved through the movie, it's the final game. Things are going a little rocky with the Z-Band, and maybe we pushed it to the limits. But then the cheerleaders figure out that the Z-Band's getting hacked, and they steal Eliza's computer. And who knew that these cheerleaders they've been making out to be airheads the entire time were computer geniuses? Over here on the side, hacking into the Z-Bands. Because again, I'm not judging cheerleaders here. I'm saying that they've spent the movie trying to show us that these are very shallow, maybe airheaded people, and then that follow Bucky like blindly, and now they're over here basically hacking into the Pentagon.
Yeah.
Thoughts,
And
Ron?
I love the picture that you showed. Also,
I have to kind of like not take a fifth, but kind of sit this question out. Just because in high school, like at least for the freshman, sophomore, I was a JV football player. I was friends with the cheerleaders. I was also probably the biggest nerd in the school, but I kind of did both. And all the cheerleaders like on our squad were like AP students, so I was at a kind of a weird school, so I kind of have to sit this question out.
Okay. What were you going to say about this picture, Wolf?
I love the fact that they're supposed to be doing this like in secrecy, but you can tell that like if that gentleman right there on the left-hand side just looks back for some reason, they're like, "Oh, what are these three kids doing that are not cheering?"
Yeah.
They're supposed to be like the secondary captains, or I don't know what you call it. It's like, what are these kids doing?
Which
Why
one
are they over there? Cheering?
Which one's Stacy? Which one's Lacey? And which one's Tracy?
Tracy's the dude.
If I'm not mistaken, Lacey's the blonde.
And Stacy's hacking the computer, and Tracy is the dude. Is that what we're saying?
Tracy's the dude, yes, because Tracy's the one that changes in the second movie.
Wait, what? No spoilers! Come on, I haven't seen the second movie.
Sorry.
Man. So then they hack into the Z band, and bad things happen. And at this point, a lot of times I'm looking to see how much time is left in the movie, and there's still like a good 20 minutes left in the movie when the bad things are happening. I guess this is really kind of either like the beginning of the third act, would you say? Bucky's kind of loving what's happening, that his plan has come to fruition. And then, now we see Zed in his true form, but looking kind of badass. Come on. I mean, come on. Right? Like, that's kind of cool. So now he's gone full zombie. But then he seems to be able to control it, and then they shock him with some paddles that turn him back into normal zombie or whatever that middle range is. And then now the whole thing's gone. And so the only thing that Madison can do at this point is sing a song. Addison, sing a song. And at this point, and let's talk again about like the film itself. And again, I'm going to direct this one to you, Ron. Is that they do a montage of scenes as she's singing. I feel like that's a little bit of lazy movie making at that point, right? I mean, we're reusing scenes in the movie we just saw.
Every second act of a musical is bad. I will say that almost as a universal thing, because they do so much music in the first one, they have to cram all the plot into the second one. So whatever they have to do to get that plot moving in that point, and have a few more songs. Like, look at Frozen. Has no songs in the second half, really. Except, I think, the Troll song. I forget the name of it right now. But it's just because you have so much in the first half, you have to cram all this, exposition and story plot into the second half, that anything you can do to keep music going in that second half, I think is a good thing. And that applies to stage musicals, movie musicals. You look at a lot of them, that's kind of a normal trope of it. Not trope, but you know what I mean.
Yes. So yeah. Okay. I guess I look at it as it's an hour and 37 minutes, and we already know there's some things that they could have been putting in there, like where did Gus come from? What does Dad do? Where did Mom go? All of these things that we still don't know, and they relive the movie as Addison is like singing, and it seemed a little too soon to do that, to reuse that footage. I don't know. That may just be me. But I would like to share this scene with you, by the way, that as they drag his son off, and the principal is here like bad-mouthing, and this is Mr. Necrodopoulos. That's such a weird last name. That's Zed's last name, apparently, is Necro...
They really say dead city, basically.
Yeah, Necrodopolis. Here's my favorite thing: is this dude in the background taking the weird number one finger and holding it down like a thumbs down. Right? I mean, come on. That's great. Like, I don't know if that extra decided to do that on his own or if he was like directed to do that, but that's brilliant. Kudos to him. That's fantastic. And it reminds me of that new commercial for, I guess it's AT&T, where the girl has the foam fingers. No, you guys don't watch commercial television.
I've seen it.
Yeah. I mean, Ron runs pretty Gucci and has probably Hulu free of commercials layer, so you probably never see stuff like that. Yeah, look, he's not denying it. He's not denying it.
I don't think I've watched live TV other than sports in like 2 years.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all fine.
This is a question more directed at Rob, more than
Eric
Wolf, but just because you and me are kind of a different generation from Eric.
How dare you, sir? I'm
Like,
just kidding. Go ahead.
do you have a problem with bullies in modern movies not feeling like the bullies like you would know in school? Like, even if you were not the victims of it, like, I just have a problem with like Bucky as the bully villain. Was like, bullies used to just beat the crap out of you when I was in school, not like shame you. So I think there is a generational divide on what a bully is in movies sometimes.
Like Flash Thompson in the new Spider-Man. In the new Spider-Man,
Right.
where he's just like he's a dorky kid, but he's just mean to everybody, and it's because he's got money that he can be mean to everybody. And yeah, no, I
Then you
don't.
look at Flash Thompson from The Amazing Spider-Man.
Right.
The Amazing
Right.
Spider-Man Flash Thompson did like beat him up and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, in our world, Bucky would have gotten his nose broken on day one. Like, in high school in our day.
Yeah, there would have
We'll
been
say
someone
that.
else.
Yeah. And not because of the cheerleader thing, just because he's kind of an a-hole.
I got to address this. Because in chat, and I'll come back to that for a second, Ron, because I think that's a great point. But our good friend Arlo has said that he thinks that this looks like Patrick Hackett with the makeup on. Ron, you and Patrick are tight. Tell me, what do you think?
I'm holding my hand over the hair and just kind of going on the face things. A little bit, I can see it. No offense, Patrick, but yeah, I could almost see it.
Okay, all right, there you go. Good call, Arlo, on that one. And Patrick, if you watch this ever, remember that Ron said it, not me. So and Ron, he talked on Park Center this week that I think is going to try to be using you to get good rates on a cruise. So you could say whatever you want to about him. He's gonna have to be nice to you. So I that's funny. Anyway, so yeah, I agree with you. But like the Flash Thompson in Spider-Man bothers me in that same way, and and that seems like, yeah, just take Bonzo and just sick him on Bucky and get it over with, right? I mean, that seems to be like how you would solve that problem. It's the Nelsons, like from the Simpsons of the world, that we really kind of see as bullies, and usually. But now in the Mean Girls era of social media and shaming and all of these things, it really can be anybody that you let steal your power, basically, right? So it doesn't have to be somebody that can physically overpower you, but somebody who can belittle you would be a bully. So I mean, I see it, but also I agree with you, Ron. It's hashtag not my bully. Maybe, I don't know. So at this point, it feels like where the movie should have ended, but it was only like an hour into the movie, and we were going through this really weird dream sequence thing with Addison where she's looking back, and at the same time, our bully, he's having some reflections of his own, right? So he's coming around a little bit, it seems, on what have I done? What am I really, this was all my plan, and I've messed things up for everybody. Also, interesting placement of this water bottle. Okay. So, but he's kind of seems like he's coming around, but then after this, and Addison removes her wig to show her wig. he basically like decides that he's bad again. I don't get that. I feel like he should have. I feel like they're trying to show that he was turning here, right? No. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think that comes later.
Yeah. So actually, I don't hate this look for her. You know.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's the Gwen Stacy. She just needed the Gwen Stacy. That's what she needed.
I just love how bad the wig is. Like, it's supposed to be her natural hair compared to the wig she wears, but it's just so much worse of a wig.
Yep. Nope. That's exactly
so
the problem. Is that the wig looks normal and or her and the real it's weird. Wait a minute. We got one more opportunity here. Is that Patrick Hackett?
I have never seen Patrick look that intense.
Well, at least now we know. You know what, Wolf? You and Patrick can go trick or treating together this year, and he can be your dad. So that'll be nice. You'll like that. Then we see that and maybe it's self-loathing at this point, but the Bucky's on a little bit of a witch hunt where he's going through here and he's pulling out anybody who's a zombie sympathizer because, ooh, boo, we don't want that to happen, right? By the way, what happened between 1970 and 1975 to the cheerleading team? Because they seem to have been going on a pretty good jag in 68, 69, 70. Messed up 71 through 74 somehow, came back strong in 75, 76, 78, 79, 81. But, oh, man, those years between 70 and 75, what do we think happened?
Ugh. The zombie war 50 years ago?
Wow. Okay, you got me. That. Wow, could they have paid that much attention to detail?
No, because the years are off for when the movie came out. But it was close enough that I mentioned it.
No,
It's funny though because I thought the exact same thing when I saw this for some reason. Like I like looking at weird details like that, and I stopped it and I was like, okay, so what is up with this? And why are they so like, oh yeah, we're the best, but you guys are missing some dates there? Like, nah.
Yeah. I live in Boston where there's those banners in every stadium and there's the big gap, so it just makes sense to me.
So I also think it's weird. So then we jump to the end where there's a cheerleading competition that just also happens to be at the school that night. The big cheerleading competition that everybody's been working towards. And I love that Bucky's wearing this Rocky Balboa style, like wrestling, boxing, like
dressing gown.
Yeah, exactly. And no one else is. No one else is. But just Bucky is I guess he just needs that extra like warmth. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's just
go back to that shot because the look on Lacey's face looking at him is like, you are such a tool.
Yeah, that's a little bit off from the other one, but yeah, that's very similar. She's not having it. And then so then there's this weird moment where Addison is in her seat with Bree, and she's like, I am never leaving the seat. I'm sitting in the seat. I'm just never going to leave. And the world could end, and I'd still be in the seat. And then she's like, oh, there's Zed. I'm going to leave the seat. What was the purpose of that?
Love. True love.
True love. Yeah. So then apparently Eliza's going to blow up the gym just to show them all, and yeah, and that's a thing. And here's where this line comes in, where Zed says, I'm not a monster, I'm a zombie.
They've used that a couple times throughout the movie, though. They've kind of played that off a few times. I think the coach said something early, like in the scene where he gets the job on the team, the position on the team, and all that. Like, they've kind of played off that whole trying to use euphemisms to not call them monsters or anything derogatory at that.
Yeah. Okay. It just again, it seems weird, but And then there's that moment when little Zoe gets down and she's going to save the day and she's going to cheer on her own. It's just that one voice singing in the darkness, and if one voice sings, then the next sings, and so on. And so they all get together and they cheer this hugely well choreographed cheer, and basically to win over the crowd that they've never practiced but seem to have nailed.
That's just a musical trope.
But see, I don't. But Ron, I agree with you. But I don't have a problem with it when it's like spontaneous and not necessarily having anything to do with the story. When they break out into dance in High School Musical in the cafeteria, I'm cool with that. But there's that scene in High School Musical 2 where they're holding the sheet music, and she's just written this song. And they're holding the sheet music for 8 seconds, and they put it down immediately, and they know all the words.
Oh, no. This is one of my problems with musicals,
But again, I'm okay if you're just... I'm okay if it's random and it's just part of the show, but when they write it into the show, then suspension of disbelief is out the window.
Oh, I have this problem and other things. I think I got into an argument when Captain Marvel came out. This is a tangent, where she's in the scene with the Supreme Computer, I forget the name, and they're playing Nirvana's Come As You Are. She wouldn't know that song, but they make a point of it being something her subconscious generated, and they talk about her picking the song. That song came out after she disappeared off Earth, but before she came back. So how could her subconscious pick up that song?
Well, I mean, you come as you are, as you were, as you want me to be.
I mean, I understand the story plot for that, because all of the musical acts in that were either female-led or Nirvana and REM, between Kurt and Michael Stipe, were very pro-feminist singers. And that was part of the whole musical choice there. But the song choice still bugged me there. Other people got annoyed that the end credits song did not exist till 2 years after the movie was supposed to be set. I'm fine with that. That's not part of the story. As you said, that doesn't make sense. But the fact that they make something a story point that's music should actually fit the story. You're right.
Agree 100%. So one last thing: when an adult male looks at a small child this way, it's stranger danger, right? Just saying. Anyway, so that they have this big scene at the end. They all dance together. Everybody now accepts zombies, and they live happily ever after. Just like they should in any musical, right? So that's our journey, and we're really near the end here. I just wanted to ask you guys, did we miss anything in talking about this before we do final thoughts?
Good choreography, great, good music. It's a solid musical, if not a lot of songs, because as we said earlier, there's a lot of reprises. And the sequel definitely falls into that sophomore slump kind of thing, hoping the third one will be a little better, hoping they're putting a little more effort into it. But I like the series. I think it's a little more out there for a DCOM, and I like that they took a little bit more of a chance on something like this.
Okay. Eric, anything else before we do the final thoughts on this?
No, I think we covered everything.
All right, then. The time has come, and again, thank you guys for watching and appreciate it. The time has come for the important question, and I'm going to start with Wolf, and then Ron, this one's coming to you next. But we've talked about it, we watched it, we talked about it, we broke it into little teeny tiny pieces. You've cosplayed as it, but Eric, Wolf, would you wait for it? Recommend this movie?
Yes, of course. Yeah, like Ron said, I really, really enjoy this franchise. I think the songs are good, choreography's great, and yeah, like I'm so hyped up for the third one. I just followed them on Instagram because they're like giving us some behind the scenes. There's a teaser trailer for the third one. Like, I'm all hyped up. I'm ready for 2022 to come so we can see this. But yeah, guys, if you haven't already and you like musicals and you like things, you know, just a little, it's a little different, you know, than your normal things that you get to see, I think, in Disney Channel as well, which I find cool. Watch it. You guys will enjoy it. And they keep adding, you know, not to give anything away, but they keep adding, you know, other creatures, other stuff. So the sequel's also there on Disney Plus, and you guys can watch that too. And it adds to the lore, which I really enjoy.
Zombie lore. Okay. And same question to you, Ron. Would you recommend this movie?
I would. I'm not a fan of DCOMs, but if you are, I think this still fits your mold. And if you're not, it's different enough from, you know, the High School Musicals, Teen Beach Party, Camp Rock to bring something different. I think the music and the choreography is actually a step up. If the story is kind of generic, that kind of takes the backseat to it. It's not your, you know, run-of-the-mill Disney Channel presentation. I think it's solid straight through. The music, I really do enjoy it. I listen to very few musical soundtracks outside of the musical, and there's a few songs on here that I would put in rotation. Otherwise,
Nice.
and I'm like, Rent is one of the kind of very few things I take outside of that. I'm not going to compare this to Rent. That's not fair to either party in that situation. But it's just a solid film. If not, it's not a great film, but it's very solid.
Okay. So yeah, you know what? At first, I was not sure if I would recommend this movie. I didn't grow up with this movie. I haven't watched it a ton. This was my first really watch through, and I'm not going to lie. I rolled my eyes at several things in this one, and again, that's coming from me. But I do agree with you. I like this genre. I like High School Musical and Descendants, and I like Camp Rock. I mean, Ride or Die Camp Rock. I mean, that's me. So, but when I watch this one, I am intrigued enough to go and watch the second one. You need to tell us in chat if you are going to want us to review the second one at some point. You know, we've talked about it a little bit, Wolf and I, about reviewing it before the third one comes out. So again, if you're interested in seeing that, let us know. By the way, next week we are reviewing Coco, Wolf and I, so that'll be another spooky season-ish one because of where it falls in the holidays. But for this one, I would recommend it. It didn't have any ties to the park. It's not an essential piece of Disney history, but it is, you know, it is one of those things where I did enjoy watching it, and will probably end up being watching the sequel one. And while I say that there were no ties to the park, there was this really weird thing I want to mention that they did last year, where it was right around Christmas time, and they did this scavenger hunt thing with the Disney. It was called Disney Holiday Magic Quest, and it was on Disney Plus after it originally aired on Disney Channel, and Milo Manheim was in it. And so it says, which features Zombies 2 stars Milo Manheim, Kylie Russell, Ariel Martin, and Pierce. I can't pronounce his last name. Hoza. So apparently this was like, you know, they brought the cast. It was a little bit of a tie-in to do this like scavenger hunt around the Magic Kingdom at night, which is something we would all like to do. So it was fun to see. Again, it was a little corny, but a lot of Disney things are. So I think we watch it with a grain of salt if you would like to watch that one. But that was something kind of cool. So we didn't get our 50 likes. So I will open this only because I feel like I owe Neko and Dawn because they said it. So this is Ron Wishable. This is a Tiki Bird one and Tiki Room. There were 4 birds, a Dole Whip, and a Tiki drummer in the series. Any guess as to what this one is? Just with your mind, can you tell what this might be?
You know, it's hard to tell. I'm feeling drummer from the shape.
Are you? Wolf?
Yeah,
thoughts?
but it's hard to tell from here.
I'm gonna go with We Gotta Chase.
A chase, like one of the chase birds. Yeah, Jose and Pierre were the original two. And by the way, Wishables are going nuts right now. Like this, it's hard to find this one, the 50th anniversary ones. Snow White apparently somehow leaked. I don't think it was supposed to be out yet, but Snow White's Enchanted Wish ones, you can buy Snow White online, and you can't really find the blind bags. They're all sold out. And then now there's an advent calendar, which I've been trying to find. I mean, it's kind of crazy right now. So we'll go ahead and open this one. I think it's the Dole Whip is my take on this one, and it is the Dole Whip. So
no,
All right, that's not fair because you could.
No. I'm not. No. There's no losers in this except for you, Ron, on this one. Aloha. It's an Aloha float. It's not actually a Dole Whip because the Dole Whip was in the snacks pack. So this is an Aloha float. But here's what I'd like for you to do. If we would love to get your comments on zombies, and so if you will leave comments below, we will choose one at random. We'll let Ron, because he is the Tiki master, pick one at random sometime next week, and we will send you this wishable that we pull on the show tonight. So anyway, Eric, dude, thank you for coming in over the top. I cannot wait to see what you wear for Coco. It's gonna. I mean, if it's gonna be full, like the face paint, like. I mean, I don't know if are you gonna come in with a guitar, a room full of leaves. I don't know. It's gonna be exciting. Tune in next week to see how Eric raises the bar, as he clearly will. Ron, thank you for staying somewhat sober tonight. I appreciate that as well.
I am not. The last 15 minutes have been a little tough to concentrate.
I am not.
That rum hit all at once. I'll say, yeah, definitely.
Wow. Oh, well, thanks for your honesty at the very least. And thank you all for watching and tuning in and joining us for Deep in the Plus. We hope you'll join us again next Tuesday night. And don't forget, Haunted Mansion was on. Muppets Haunted Mansion we did last week. And I would just leave you with this. Be fearless, not cheerless. Have a good night.